Iran. It looks like years ago, when we had the rebirth of Israel, it's coming up again in a couple of days. It looks like a lot of people of Yaz, they were very, very big Zionists. They moved to Israel and seemingly in Yerushalayim, they made their own synagogue. So they called it the synagogue of the Yazdim. Obviously, this was made at the time of the 6 day, whatever, the Independence Day. I'm sure all those guys are gone in Gan Eden, is their children, the purely Israelis. But it still has the name, the Beit Knesset of Yazdim. So Rabbi Yosef used to go every Saturday night, every Motzei Shabbat, talk about halachas, very beautiful. But the beauty of his speech is that he mixes stories in there, so you don't fall asleep. It's not just same halacha, brings in some stories. And one of the speeches that he has is about BaOmer. I'm sure you guys don't know the story of BaOmer, but it actually brought something to my attention. I never knew the answer to it. And people ask, I didn't have the answer. So over there he brings the answer. If you know the story of BaOmer, I'm saying it has to be Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, correct? Now what happened to Rabbi Shimon? Why did he go into the cave? So the Gemara, guys, let's do it. The Gemara tells us, see, these guys are not Persian, they're eating meat first. Come on. We don't have the Persian brain. What's going on? Eat meat, then you have to wait 6 hours. I think they have been in the US for too long. They became too Americanized. They eat what they like right away. You got to think money before. I'm just kidding. Oh, then you're a Chabadnik. I see that. Awesome. It says better to eat in order to daven than daven in order to eat. That's what Chabad says. Is the reasoning for eating before davening. Now, some of them mean it, some of them don't mean it, but most of them mean it. I'm just kidding. No lashon about anybody. I'm a Chabadnik, by the way, myself. That's why I could joke about them. They're not going to feel bad. But anyways, putting all the jokes aside, so we know the story of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. He was sitting in Beis Medrash. There was Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Loi. He was saying so many good things about the Romans. Even though they destroyed the Beis Hamikdash, but they made the bridges, they're such nice people. We could go over the rivers with no problem. They put pavement in the street so we don't get muddy walking in a rainy day. And then there was Rabbi Yossi. He didn't say anything. He kept quiet. Please, guys, let's pay attention. Here. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he said, no, the Romans are evil. They did everything for themselves. They made the bridges to take tolls. Like in New York, we go over a bridge, you have to pay money. They did it to take taxes. They made the bathhouses for themselves to take showers. Not for us. Yeah, of course, we use the showers too. But they made everything for themselves. This story got out of the shul, got out of the synagogue. Somebody said it to a bunch of other Jews. He never meant for it to go to the Roman Empire. Somehow the Caesar hears about it. And there's no freedom of press in old Rome. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said something that you're bad, you're evil. Without judgment, they said he has to get killed. Now he hid in Beis Medrash, and his wife with his son, and his wife would bring him bread and water every single day. But then Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was afraid. How much could this poor lady tolerate? Imagine the Romans will go and torture her, his wife. She can't keep her mouth closed, under torture. And if she does, God forbid, her life is in danger. So he decided to run away with his son inside a cave. So that's a famous cave that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai went into, and he figured out the Zohar there, and God made a miracle. There was a water streaming down, they had water. There was a carob tree. He was able to eat the food. Now they didn't want their clothes to to decay. So when they studied Torah, they took off their clothes and they buried themselves under the ground, up to their chest. So then, they don't see their nakedness, they're able to learn. But then when they daven, they put on their clothes. And because of that, his body was full of scars after 12 years being there. What I wanted to discuss with you, and it's going to take me probably 5 minutes. Rabbi Yosef asks, what did Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai do wrong that the poor person deserved such a punishment for 12 years? And then after that, he goes for another year to the cave, but his punishment was for 12 years. Usually either there has to be a sin that he get punished for, as the Gemara says, "Ein onesh v'lo chet," or something happened in his previous life that because of that he had to suffer. Anybody has any ideas? I never knew this, honestly. And somebody just asked me a couple of weeks ago, and I found in Rabbi Yosef's book. Go ahead.
It's a bad thing.
What is it?
Didn't he discover a lot of stuff?
Right, but he suffered. I'm saying, being in the dirt, that his whole body was full of scars. He could have gotten it some other way. You had tzaddikim that didn't have to suffer like this. So you see the story that it brings. Anybody has heard of Achia Hashiloni? Anybody? Achia Hashiloni is a figure in the Tanakh. Go ahead. Yeah, that's true. Usually people had Eliyahu Hanavi as a teacher, so Baal Shem Tov had him. But Achi Ashoni, the Rambam writes down, he was a little boy when he left Egypt. Could you believe that? He was under 20, seemingly. He joined the Beis Din of Moshe Rabbeinu. And then he actually lived all the way to the times of Achav, he was alive at that time. So what happens is, let's make it very short. As you know, God wasn't so happy with Shlomo HaMelech because he didn't live up to the standards of God, even though he was a tzaddik, not putting him down. So then God says, because he didn't obey what I said, when your son Rechavam will take over, I'm going to give 10 of the tribes to another person. This person was Yeravam ben Nevat. He was a tzaddik in the beginning. You ever heard of Yeravam ben Nevat? The sinner who made all the Jews sin. He wasn't like that all the time. He actually dared to go to Shlomo HaMelech. When Shlomo made the Beis HaMikdash, he went to sleep that night and he had the keys. He had a young wife, didn't want Shlomo to get up early in the morning to open up the gates. So he put like a black, piece of paper or something on the window, and she put fake stars and moon. So every time Shlomo woke up, he thought it's the middle of the night. So it comes around 10 in the morning, Shlomo's sleeping, Kohanim are waiting to go bring the Korbanos. Yeravam ben Nevat gets a whole bunch of people. He barges into Shlomo HaMelech's bedroom. And it says, you're sleeping and the Kohanim are waiting. So the guy was a real courageous tzaddik. So what happens is, God tells Achia Shiloni, because Shlomo sinned, go to him. He goes to Yeravam ben Nevat and he takes a piece of cloth, rips it up into 12 parts. And he says, take 10 of them. So Yeravam says, what does that mean? He says, well, you're going to get the 10 tribes. So Shlomo dies, Rechavam takes over. God puts in his mind that he should tax the people too much. As a joke, he was on the Democratic side. He wasn't a Republican, but that's only a joke. Republicans after you, they tell you, use your money, don't give it to the government. What did the Democrats say? Give us the money, we spend it for you. That's why they put taxes on you. That's who pays so much taxes in California, guys. You got to change it, make it more Republican. You'll change it in the future. I think by that time, Mashiach will not have to worry about it. Anyway, so the Jews rebel and they go to Yeravam ben Nevat. Now, a problem happens. We almost finished. Guys, everybody's mitzvah Hakel. The 8th year, right? You're supposed to have the king sitting in the Beis HaMikdash reading the Torah for you. Now we got two kings. You got Rechavam, son of Shlomo, and you got Yeravam ben Nevat. Only one king could sit down and read from the Torah in the Beis HaMikdash. Everybody has to stand up. The only one that is allowed to sit in the Beis HaMikdash is only somebody that comes from Malchei Beis David, from the kings of David HaMelech. Yeravam, they say he was a tzaddik, but he was a big Balgaiva. He says, well, I'm going to go to the Beis HaMikdash on the 8th year. What's going to happen? I'm going to be standing, and Rechavam is going to sit and read the Torah. Everybody's going to know that I'm not the real king. So what did he do? He sent two wicked people to Achia Shiloni. And these two wicked people, he sent them on purpose so he should lose his what do you call it? So Achia Shiloni was a big Navi. He should lose his sense a little bit. Because when Rishon sits next to him, it's going to affect him. And he said, please, Yeravam sent us to you to sign whatever Yeravam says, everybody has to listen. So Achi was afraid. Why? Maybe he's going to tell tomorrow people should worship idols. So I said, nah, don't worry about it. God told you to make him into a king. You think God is going to choose such a wicked person? So he signed. And he wrote, whatever Yeravam ben Nevat says, you should listen. Yeravam ben Nevat took advantage, and he went to all the Chachamim, and he said, you see, the Navi signed. You should listen to me. I want all you guys to sign too. So he made two houses of Avodah Zarah in the northern side of Israel, and he put a calf there, and through magic he made the calf speak. And he told people, we're not serving Avodah Zarah, we're serving God. These two are the intermediaries, these two calves. So Rabbi writes down, this mistake happened because of Achia Shiloni, because he signed the paper. All the Jews became eventually Evda Avodah Zarah, almost. The Jews in the northern side. So when his neshama went to heaven, God said, you got to come back and suffer. He doesn't explain why 12 years, but I think because it had to do with the 12 Shvatim. So he had to come back in the body of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, and then he had to be in the cave for 12 years. So again, I think the 12 years has to do with the 12 Shvatim. I don't know why his son had to suffer. Rabbi doesn't write it down. Why did he have to take his son with him to the cave? I have no idea. But one thing we do learn, that everything is exact. Sometimes we go through certain challenges, we don't know why. But definitely it's for our tikkun. Maybe something happened in our previous life. Thank you guys for listening. It was awesome. Let's get the pizzas to the back there. Guys, there's so much. There's so much today. Don't worry about it. Yeah, take another one. Take this to the back, please. Take it. No fighting, no kicking. Please. We love you all, guys. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, who wants it? Yeah, what's that? Oh, it wasn't born. Who wants it? Anybody want to wait? I hope it wasn't boring. Bro, it wasn't. It wasn't fun. It was story. Huh? My God, I hope you have a Gilbert story. Yes, there is one.
Is there another?
Yes. There's more actually. More. Take that with the energy learn to. Okay, let me keep this so somebody else will do this quick. Come on. I suppose that makes because he married a father. Not because he slept. He took the mother to be married daughter of
As I was like,
So let's, you want to, yeah? Because they didn't ask your son. You better record it. Right. Keep coming. Every single day. Well, we could start with Sundays and I know with you guys. I'm down. Usually I go. It depends on basketball. I have to see, but most probably, yeah. No, after when he signed, he didn't any of their trying to do the right thing. He thought he was the right thing. Was it a bad era like it wasn't amazing? God told me to get on the Kings. I trust it. What you said?
Was that did he say the Torah those like you made us make any touch it?
It's all that. And it said we not keep secrets. We're gonna keep secrets on the 15th of Teshuvah. Get away from prison.
I heard some opinions today that they not bring to the absolute because it doesn't make much urgent to them.
Well, I know that it could be some.
Voice on. Take the
Just take it.